There's a lot of reasons. First and foremost, it's probably one of the biggest ways I can reduce my own personal carbon footprint. I drive quite a bit for work. I live outside of the city to commute in every day, so just that right there is almost 40 miles a day on a given work day. Any way I can reduce the amount of emissions coming from that, I think, is a positive thing. And then I guess on the other side, it's just I love technology. I love being on kind of that cutting edge and seeing that stuff, and so I think that's, to me, that is what electric vehicles are. They are the new cutting edge. That's the new path that vehicles are going to take. So I think those two reasons together really attract me towards electric vehicles. And no matter what, I think my next vehicle will be an electric vehicle. So for me, it's more a matter of when than if. I looked at so many different things. It ranges from conversations with people that I know have electric vehicles to looking at an infinite number of electric vehicle sites, Electrek, inside EVs. I'm nerdy, so I get an electric vehicle magazine that I read about. Just going on to different manufacturers' websites and looking at what are the future cars that they have in the process, or what do they have now in terms of electric vehicles, plug-in hybrids, trying to look at some of the DOE research that's coming out, as simple as even just typing in top 10 electric vehicles 2019, 2020, or future electric vehicles, just to see what's coming out, and then just really starting to keep an eye on what are the ones that attract me, what are in my price range, and real qualities am I looking for, what are the attributes, what is the range that I'd be comfortable with, are there tech aspects to it that I need to have, or that I would like to have, and then from there breaking it down and deciding what really fits all my needs. I would tell them to talk to Cornell Cooperative Extension. I think we have a lot of people here that are interested. I think we have some people that are experts or on their way to becoming experts, and I think can do a great job of answering questions. And I think the nice thing is if they turn to Cooperative Extension, even if we don't know the answer, we play that facilitator role. We'll go and try and find the answer. We'll connect you to a dealership, or we'll talk to the dealerships ourselves to try and find out those answers. And so I think that's a really good place to start off, is talking to Cornell Cooperative Extension of Tompkins County. Yeah, so the Kona was actually one that I'd been following for a little while. I had seen it come out in some trade shows, car shows, had read about it in some different places. It was based on the same platform as the Kia Niro that was also coming out with an electric vehicle. It was in that more affordable price range. So as much as I would like one of these, ultra expensive Teslas, this was a little bit closer to what, is realistic for me with the different incentives that are available. And then, right now I'm in a smaller car, a Honda Civic. It was the idea of moving to something a little bit bigger, but not quite. And then I think the thing that really attracted me to it was that the range on it is pretty great. And it just seemed like a good fit for what I was looking for. So I test drove it probably about a week ago now, and it was, it's the funny thing about these electric vehicles is that at the end of the day, they're a car, just like any other one. It still has four wheels, it still has a steering wheel, but even there's always those small things that just set it apart. And so I think a good example is I get into the vehicle, the salesman's next to me, my girlfriend's in the back seat, and I say to him, all right, so how do I turn it on? Do I just press this button? And he says, it's already on. The thing was already on. It was completely silent. You would never have guessed in a million years that the car was actually on already. And so I was like, oh, okay then. So, you press the button, you put it in reverse, and it just starts reversing. Took it on a probably 5-6 mile drive around the city of Ithaca. And the idea that you could just go and not hear any noise, and that you would just be able to plug in, and when you got home, and then the next morning you get up to go to work and you go out and your car is at full basically. And that was a pretty attractive thing about it, and I just really enjoyed driving it. It was a great experience. Yeah, I think it was a really good experience. I used McGuire Hyundai here in the city of Ithaca. I thought the salesman was knowledgeable. I had let him know what time I was coming. We basically had set it up the day before, so it was really quick. I got there. He brought the electric vehicle right around. It was the only one that they had there at the time. It was charged up and was ready to go. There was no concerns over are we going to make it or not going to make it. And as we were going through, he was just pointing out different aspects about it and telling me, answering my questions about, how would it work with charging at home and in the winter and things like that. So great experience from the dealership and from the actual salesman. I thought it was fantastic. I think if I was on my own, I'd probably be a little bit more ready to buy it. It's one of those things where my significant other felt like maybe the back seat was a little bit too small for a family that wants to maybe grow a little bit. So I think that's maybe the small hesitancy there. But if I was just a person that really wasn't too concerned about something like that, most of my driving was going to be just me by myself, or me and one other person, or possibly 3 people in the family, I think you would go for it. It's the range is fantastic, the drive is fantastic. It's relatively affordable for what it is, especially once you start factoring in the federal tax credit, you start factoring in the New York State rebate. It really starts to make it an attractive option. Obviously the dealerships have their routes planned, but I think getting an idea and letting the dealership know, this is what I'm interested in looking at. Make sure that you can get a stretch of road where you can see what it's like at highway speeds, as well as in urban settings. Especially if your drive contains all urban driving or all highway driving, you certainly want to see them in those particular aspects. One thing that I enjoyed trying out was the Kona had 3 different levels of brake regeneration. Finding a stretch of road in which I could actually play around with that and test it out was maybe a little bit difficult in the city when there's traffic around you. So maybe if that's what you want to test out, find a quiet stretch of road where you can play around with that a little bit and see if that's something that you enjoy, if you would like that one pedal driving style of driving or not. But I think in general, it's like I said, it's at the end of the day, it's a car. It's got 4 wheels and a driving wheel. Don't be intimidated by it. You'll figure it out in about 2 seconds flat. I truly believe that electric vehicles are the way of the future. I've had a number of people that have told me that they started off with plug-in hybrids, and once they realized that almost 75-90% of their driving was on electric for those plug-in hybrids that had such a small amount of range, they instantly wanted to move to a fully electric vehicle because they knew that 98-99% of their driving would be on electric. I think I'd say to people, take the jump. Definitely, especially if you have 2 cars, don't be afraid of making one of them an electric vehicle while you keep your other one for those longer drives. But really, the best thing you can do is go out and test drive a few of these different ones. I went out, test drove the Kona. I've seen the Bolt before. Would love to go back and try and drive one a little bit more. Definitely have an interest in driving the Nissan Leaf. Maybe someday someone will let me drive a Tesla, but at this point in time, I don't think it ever hurts to try and drive as many of these different ones as you can and just see what it's like and see if it's for you.